Hi, everyone. My name is James Quick, and I'm currently the lead agriculture science instructor at Surrey Community College. I'm a proud alumnus of North Carolina State University, as well as North Carolina A&T State University. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about my graduate research that I conducted at NC State while working with Dr. Mark Knauer. As I'm sure you all know, piglet quality is one of the highest economical traits in swine production. The reason piglet quality is so important is because it could result in more profits for the producer. And so a common practice to improve piglet quality is bump feeding, which is basically increasing the amount of feed given to a gilt during late gestation, usually around day 90 or day 100. This is very important because this is when fetal development increases drastically. This practice has been used for decades and has proven to result in piglets with higher birth weights. And the reason this is mainly used on gilts is because the first litter can be quite taxing on a gilt's body. And so attempting to wean a dozen piglets or so for the first time can be quite difficult and could result in more losses than wins. It has also been reported that piglets with higher birth weights are able to thermoregulate quicker after being born, thus reducing their need to cuddle with the sow, which is how most piglets are crushed, resulting in piglet death. So the additional nutrients should be beneficial to not only the sow, but the piglets as well. And as you can see from the chart below, multiple studies have reported positive effects on piglet quality due to bump feeding. However, as the years have passed, bump feeding seemed to be less effective. So the objective of my study was to assess the impact of bump feeding at different levels and different durations and how that could positively or negatively affect piglet quality. I knew this research would be very important because it could potentially save producers and farmers money. My study was conducted in a farm in Ahoskie using about 472 gilts grouped together in pens of 5 or 6. The gilts were fed once a day with water being available ad libitum. We had 3 diet levels, 4 pounds serving as a control, 5.5 pounds, and 7 pounds. We began the increased diets on either day 93 or day 100 of gestation. This resulted in 5 treatment groups. I also obtained the body condition score using the Knauer caliper on day 93 of gestation of all the gilts in the study. The gilts were moved to the farrowing crates on day 110 of gestation, and the diets were discontinued. The piglets' birth weight were recorded within 24 hours of birth, and their ears were ear notched based on treatment group. The ear notches would later be used to track the piglets for weaning on their survivability. Additional traits that were measured included the number of functional teats, the number of live-born piglets, stillborn, and mummified piglets at birth. As you can see, average piglet birth weights were similar across treatments, around 3 pounds. So that showed that the diets had no effect on improving piglet birth weight. We also saw that each additional piglet resulted in a lower average piglet birth weight of about 30 grams, and the average total number of piglets born was around 12, resulting in 10 of those piglets reaching weaning. Using the Knauer caliper, the gilts were categorized based on their body condition score, with 9 to 11 being considered thin, 12 to 15 being considered ideal, and 16 plus being considered obese or fat. A little further breakdown of the results based on treatment so you can get a visual. As you can see from the first chart furthest to the left, no matter the feeding level, the average piglet birth weight was around the same of 1.4 kilograms, translating to 3 pounds. Moving on to the center chart, you can see that there is no difference in the piglet birth weights, no matter what start date we began on, day 93, day 100, or our control animals that didn't get increased feed at all. All the average birth weights were around the same. However, the most surprising results were shown in the chart to the right, where you can see that with the increase in feeding level, it also increased the occurrence of stillborns, which was not the results we were aiming to see, but we're happy that we saw them because this could be beneficial to farmers trying to discontinue bump feeding. These results were also mirrored by a study completed at the same time in Brazil, and they reported that the higher feeding level resulted in more stillborns in their study as well. So in summary, gilt feeding level had no effect on piglet birth weight, but this could also be due to the overconditioning of our gilts. But we do think that they are a good model for the current genetics of piglets being used in the everyday farm, in traditional or conventional. I think future research should focus on overconditioned gilts, colostrum production, female retention, and subsequent reproduction. I hope I've done a good job of summarizing this research in 5 minutes. If you have any questions, you can definitely get my contact information from Dr. Knauer. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and that you learned a little bit about piglet birth weight in regards to bump feeding. Hope you enjoy the rest of this conference and have a great rest of your day. Thanks again.